kind of had the feeling we came to this video with the wrong attire.
No,
hold on. What? Sorry, I just had a bit on your shirt, that's all.
Oh, that's smart shirt.
Where? It's only just NJ, stop it. It's only just come out of the wash.
Well, we need to present. No.
Kind of awkward. Yeah, I feel like we're doing our little version of Top Gear.
Well, I'm gonna take.
Yeah, same. Yeah. The awkwardness is kind of leaving. Yeah.
Getting back to where we should be.
Let's just start recording now. Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Judging.
I am the Stinger, Mr. Parkin. This guy is, well, all we can say is yes, fucking. Yes. What's up? I was going to say NJ, but you did it before I had a chance. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment in the, well, very, very thoughtfully provoked comment section down below. And we're going to get straight, well, Renegade Man 83 asked us a question. Do you see TNA as competition? Quite funny that we started that Q&A off with a TNA question.
So it's back to awkwardness again. Well, it didn't last long.
Yeah.
No, I think they're far off catching up to WWE's level, and it's going to take someone big to help TNA to be up there with WWE.
Simple answer, yes. Sorry, simple answer, no, I should say.
Compliment.
Complicated answer, also no. What do you think are the strengths and weaknesses of NXT? I think the strengths of NXT is that they're not bound against shareholders, they're not bound against sponsors, so they can pretty much do a lot of the stuff that you couldn't usually do on WWE TV without getting some kind of, you know, renegade going on about it. So, as fits with your name, Renegade Man. So the strengths of NXT are they can really experiment with stuff like characters and stuff like that. They also have very good wrestling on there because they actually can go time in the ring. I suppose the weakness of NXT, in my opinion, is that it's mainly to do with how they get brought up. The whole point of NXT is to prepare these guys so when they get brought up to the main roster. And I just really wonder, does NXT really prepare them and their characters to actually be on the main roster? We've seen so many NXT talents come up. And if they're not Vince McMahon's chosen one, they're just not going to go anywhere. They just end up back at NXT. And it is funny when main roster guys go back down to NXT, how much more important they actually fucking feel. So, I mean, they're the strengths and weaknesses, in my opinion.
One weakness is what we said in our last Q&A. We've got all these mid-cardy wrestlers in NXT. No breakout main event for the WWE.
Very true. And that's probably more due to WWE's talent, you know, where they get their talent from, etc., which is mainly the independent scene. Do you think Roman Reigns should feud with Rusev and end this undefeated streak and have a US title run? Why don't we just give that to Ryback? Roman Reigns is going to have his moment. Give it to Ryback. Come on.
I think that every top rising wrestler needs their moment to push. Like sometimes they use Jericho to do it. I think Reigns is pretty much there. You can see the way the WWE emphasise on him. Ryback had it but lost it. So I think giving him something like a undefeated Rusev would be his thing.
In your opinion, do you think Dolph Ziggler, see what you've done there, could be a dark horse on winning the Rumble based on his current booking, especially being the sole survivor of Team Cena? Well, maybe if he followed that with a semi-main event match against a big opponent, I would say yes. But he went from sole survivor of Team Cena, and then he opened the TLC card and won the IC title. Great consistency there, isn't it? So no is the answer to that question, no.
I still think there's going to be moments of 2015 where Dolph Ziggler's going to shine just because the WWE like it, but not enough to put him anywhere higher at this moment in time. So I say following Survivor Series, they didn't follow through with, the authority out of the way, Ziggler can now go beyond.
And especially now the authority is back. And, yeah, a dark horse winning the Rumble. Only Hacksaw Jim Duggan could actually predict that. Yeah, we all know he's generally drunk on these panels, so it doesn't matter. I know Roman Reigns is the favourite, but he's injured, and there is always the Daniel Bryan factor, which is doubtful. Adding on to the last question, both of them are back now. I know this was answered probably weeks ago, but they're both back now, and I think both of them are in contention to win it.
I look at this and we're thinking that Brock Lesnar's going to defeat John Cena and still be the champion at Mania. Would they really, because this is a whole video on its own, but do we really think that Daniel Bryan is at the level to face, probably defeat, because it's Lesnar's last year, at WrestleMania? Bryan to do that.
We could also say, was he on the level of beating a Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton in the same night? Yeah, probably not on the level of Lesnar, but you could still have him go up against him. I wouldn't have him going over, but you should have to.
If it's Lesnar's last match, yeah, he's going to have to, which I would be surprised to see how WWE book that, but compared to Reigns is more believable to put on a fight and win.
Superman Punch Spear. Toby Pierce, do wrestling companies overuse factions? Well, TNA did. I mean, it seemed like every fucking year they would have some kind of faction. Aces and Eights, fucking EV2, whatever the fuck that was, that ECW faction. Immortal, Fortune, fucking Ego, the fucking Extraordinary Gentlemen's League, or whatever the fuck they were called. And, why? I mean, it's never worked in the ratings, so why? I mean, I know Aces and Eights did work kind of in the ratings at the first, but then it kind of died.
I think the WWE did it best with Nexus when they first came in. That was brilliant, surprising, and it worked to at least start to give those wrestlers a push, but to recreate them, like Shield weren't actually a proper faction, they were a group of 3, New Day. So I think to an extent they work and they bring excitement, but overdoing it, yes, they seem to come every year or so now.
Yeah, and TNA do it more than WWE. WWE, I have a feeling WWE try and do it to get new stars over, whereas TNA just do it because, because factions equal ratings, because Eric Bischoff thinks that creating the next NWO is going to happen. I don't know. Trey Top Dog Ellis. I'm curious to know your thoughts on CM Punk's announcement that he'll be entering the UFC Octagon in 2015. Is 36 too late to break into MMA in your opinion? As fans, are you intrigued enough to buy a UFC pay-per-view with CM Punk on the card, or at least stream it on the internet? First thoughts on CM Punk's announcement that he'll be fighting in UFC.
Stay in the news, stay out there, stay remembered, even though no one's going to forget him because you hear him every week on the WWE. But I think it's just for him, staying out there with his name still CM Punk.
I think it's something that he's wanted to do. I know he's trained in jiu-jitsu, which is I believe is a fight. I don't really know too much about fighting. I know it's a form of fighting in UFC. So I'm not surprised he's signed up to fight in the UFC. I mean, also you've got all that momentum he's got coming off his WWE departure and all the news that's broken, etc. And Dana White, apparently pay-per-view buy rates are down ever since Brock Lesnar's come. So he's thinking, well, I've got to kind of cash on this now and see if I can get any buy rates to CM Punk.
He wants his rematch against Lesnar. WWE.
And in a legit fight, who do you think would win? So the same fucking result as if it was predetermined then, exactly. Are we intrigued enough to buy a UFC pay-per-view? No, because I have no interest in UFC. I mean, I think people would buy it just to see if CM Punk would get his ass handed to him in his first fight. But I mean, I'm just gonna maybe look at it on the internet the next day and see what. I'm not gonna look at the match. I'm just gonna look at the result. I don't give a shit about UFC.
I think it may be worth seeing to see how his abilities change from WWE to UFC, but I'm not sure if I'll watch it live.
Definitely not. Redwell 316. What is the biggest problem with WWE product right now? I'm not talking financially, I'm talking creatively. So what is the biggest problem? Creating new stars?
One word, Vince. It's like the argument. NXT bring in the new wrestlers now instead of doing Tough Enough, instead of doing Diva Search and stuff. And then it's up to Vince to put them into place in the WWE. And what does he do? Change character, change name, change position on the card, and then look where they go next.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Vince. Obviously, he's essentially the head of creative and making the final decisions on these things. But I mean, like I said, you've got their ability to not be able to create new stars. I mean, you're putting all your eggs in one basket with John Cena. So you can't spread those eggs evenly with new stars coming through. Obviously, the writing is a big issue right now. I mean, they're writing for 2 shows, 52 weeks a fucking year, which can't be easy, but that does not excuse the fact that these 3-hour shows are a bore fest, and it's exactly why we stopped watching WWE in the first place. And the fact that there's too much fucking WWE, and there's so many problems, and they're the main ones.
Yep.
We'll finish it there. Paul Erickson Alejandrino. Hope I pronounced that correctly with an appropriate accent. Who do you think will be the next ROH wrestler that will go to WWE? Maybe Adam Cole.
I'm about to ask who's still in ROH.
I don't know. I know Adam Cole's still in, and apparently WWE were interested in him. I don't know why.
Gold Standard? Where's he gone? Charlie House?
Is he still doing YouTube videos? I don't know. Who cares a shit about Shelton Benjamin and Charlie House now?
Briscoes.
I don't know about that. I say Adam Cole, but that's only because I know WWE have been interested in him for a while, and ROH are pushing him like they pushed Davey Richards as the next big thing, even though he's not. What do you think Kevin Steve's finisher will be in NXT? Well, going back to ROH, they were never going to let him do the package pile driver. He had that power bomb. He did the F5 at one point. So I really didn't know what his finisher was going to be, but it ended up being like that powerbomb where he lifts them up, catches them, and slams them to the ground, which is a good finisher. And he also does it on the ring apron as well.
That's Mark Henry.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. So if I was answering this question before he debuted, I would have said I don't know. But now I know. Well, I know. So yeah, that is the folly of these Q&As. Unfortunately, some of these questions get asked a month before, and then the answer just comes by chance during that time. It's like an episode of Sherlock. The Nature Girl 30, Regina. Hello, Regina. How do you feel about The Undertaker's possible return to WrestleMania 31? 3 words. What's the point?
I'm going to say no. Sorry, I'm strongly behind that the streak was his lifeline. If he comes back at WrestleMania 31 to wrestle, especially with Sting and Triple H tease, they're going to have Taker based someone below Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. The only reason why he should be coming back is to do the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
That's really it. With Sting now feuding with Triple H and may possibly have a match at WrestleMania 31, wouldn't this feud make Sting's return match pointless since the overall purpose was to face The Undertaker in Sting's final career match? I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe WWE never had plans to have Sting versus Taker because they just didn't feel the timing was correct, and they're thinking, who is another guy that Sting has never faced? Oh yeah, Triple H, because that's the match everyone wants to see.
It's been said in Vince's mind that they wanted it to be Lesnar. Lesnar was going to be the finale of Undertaker, yada, yada, yada. So obviously, if that was the case, Sting wasn't going to be an option. So maybe the original idea, Sting, was come back for a year, plug our network, video games and stuff, whatever you're doing. But the idea of having a wrestling match, we had this in our last Q&A. It's not going to be Triple H's last WrestleMania. But Sting versus Triple H, I never expected this coming in.
Have these guys put over younger talent? It's not that hard! Christ, I sound like I'm in a porn film. By the way, if you want to buy this channel in your porn, British Fist, it's a good channel. We're selling it. If you want to put any offers, inbox your face. Joking, of course. Jack Johnson, version 3. What are your thoughts on WWE having 26 minutes of television wrestling during a 3-hour Raw on the 8th of December 2014?
You timed it well.
Well, I mean, I used to, remember? Back in the good old days when we used to watch these shows on a day in, day out basis, it seemed. I don't really have any opinions on this because, to be honest, if you're going along the Vince Russo thought process that promos and storylines equal ratings, then I'm not surprised. But, I mean, usually in a 3-hour Raw, they fill it with like small matches, so you would expect more than 26 minutes of television wrestling. I suppose you can't include the advert wrestling there. But it doesn't surprise me all that much. It really doesn't. Knowing going off Raw.
If we say 180, 140, there's a load of minutes to make up the 3-hour show. And if you're giving only 26 out of those 100 minutes, 108, 160, I think it's a waste. I think when you think of wrestling, you don't always jump to matches, obviously, you think of the build up and stuff, but 26 is appalling.
This next question, it'll have you rolling. Can wrestling become addictive to watch? Well, you was watching it from 99 until 2014, so it must have been at some point addictive to watch. Can it be addictive to watch now? Unless you're maybe a child that has no idea what goes on in the wrestling business.
If you start watching the old DVDs, it'll become very addictive. Watch it now, you'll be like us.
I'll tell you what, right? If you do go back and if you watch Raw on a regular basis, go back and watch Raw from like 98 or 2004 or 2003, any of those years, and you'll be immensely... You'll find that the next Raw you watch will be 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 times as shit. Just saying. Aaron Crace, who do you think should face Rusev for the United States Championship? Are we going to go for John Cena here or Ryback? Yeah, it would be a good mid-card match and a good match for these two guys that are obviously on the up right now.
The key thing about Rusev, he's faced Big Show, Mark Henry. He's established that he can face and defeat the bigger guys. So he's undefeated. Instead of giving an undefeated guy to John Cena who doesn't need it, Ryback defeating an undefeated guy, being the one to defeat the one who's been undefeated, would be brilliant for Ryback.
Are you trying to audition to be Paul Heyman's lackey or something with this one-in-one?
I just like mimicking people.
Jesus Christ, you should start retweeting some of his tweets. Should Ryback become Intercontinental Champion? He should become US Champion. No, I don't think he needs to necessarily become a champion because I think the character is over to a certain degree. I don't necessarily think he needs a belt, whereas I think Rusev does because it really fits in with the anti-US character that he's got right now. I think Ryback, personally, just needs to face, mid-card, 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 upper mid-card, upper mid-card, upper mid-card, big guy, main event, and really progress up the card unlike he did in that year. And look how much he failed when he didn't just progress up the card. And WWE had to go from flatline to main event straight away.
Ryback stated quite strongly a week or two ago by saying this match is not going to be US versus Russia. It's going to be big guy defeating big guy. I don't think he wants the US. I think he just wants to fight and beat Rusev. I think if he gets that championship, he should just destroy it and just be Ryback as Ryback.
The next question we received in form of a letter. Dear NJ, comma, what happened to the TNA reviews? Signed, Aaron Crace.
You're asking me, and I'll have to see if I've got a letter for you.
It's right there.
Oh, you are asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought you'd seen it already.
TNA, just like the WWE, I held on so tightly thinking there's 1, 2 parts to each show I like. Then it came down to only one thing. Then it came down to no things. I'm like, TNA, screw you.
Yeah, it's exactly how I felt about a year earlier. Are you upset that CM Punk signed with the UFC? No, because CM Punk is doing what's best for CM Punk, and he's still putting his name out there, like NJ said earlier. So I'd have no problems with CM Punk signing for UFC. I got over the whole CM Punk thing very quickly, so it doesn't really bother me all that much. I don't feel like he's betrayed WWE or anything like that. So good for him.
I think CM Punk gave us what we wanted as wrestling fans, the truth, because I'm pretty sure what Punk said was him just saying how it is backstage because he's free now, and now he's going to do what he wants, which is UFC.
Yeah, but with real punches and bruises. That's it from another Q&A. This only went 19 minutes, but the problem is the next set of questions we would answer would go on for about 23 minutes. So we can't, for timing reasons, we can't do that, but we can fill the time with filler, can't we, NJ?
Of course we can, Dan. I need to put my favourite shirt back on now.
Don't you mean rip it up?
Leave my shirts alone.
Well, it only cost you a couple of quid, so it's not like you're going to be losing much. I think we should just burn them and put them in an urn full of ashes. And
sorry,
TNA!
Sorry, TNA fans and our favourite guys in the world, TNA Asylum.
And Chris Regal.
But anyway, guys, this is fun. We're getting closer and closer and closer to a massive milestone of Q&A.
Q&A 190, right? Oh no,
200.
190. Oh, 200. Oh yeah.
And it all comes down to you, so please continue to send in your questions down in the comment section below. We'll read them, got it, add to a
No,
list.
no. I usually put added to list to make people know I've added the question.
And that's what
How many other people do you know that do that? How many other people do you know that care that much?
And then
Not this guy. I fucking get all the questions.
you do. He just does everything I say. Now, I say this, guys. I love doing these Q&As, and you know the fact that we're limited 20 minutes is quite sad. But like we've been asked in previous Q&As, the 200th Q&A, we'll have to see what we can do. And until next time, YouTubers, thank you very much for watching. From true TNA fans, goodbye.